All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another We've Read the Documents live stream. I'm your host, John Brisson. I was filming some stuff for Patreon and Subscribestar earlier, and then I decided to listen to Jason Bermas a little bit when I was finishing up some work. And I listened. Billy actually sent me his stream that he did earlier today. And I figured, look, there's some things that need to be discussed. Probably after I do this stream about Bermas, I probably will take a break for a while covering him unless he continues to talk about the Council for National Policy and butchers it all and denigrates it all, or, says something, crazy, about, on the Clay Clark Reawaken America tour or Alex Jones or something. Like if Bermas, says something like that needs to be covered, like Michael Flynn should be Secretary of Defense, then yes, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to cover it, all right? But I think I think I've exposed Bermas enough. There's not really anything else really to say other than this, at least for the time being. There's more important things that I should discuss. People sometimes clap back at me, and they ask, why do you keep, dogging on Bermas? Why does Bermas get under your skin? He doesn't get under my skin. I'm not angry at this at all. Why does it bother me? Because Bermas keeps deflecting, and he knows of the truth, but it has decided to be an opportunist, and so since he has sided with that, he went from being the quote unquote Q destroyer to yoking himself up with the QAnon operation and the CMP. So that's why this is important. All right, it's really I don't want to say annoying, sad, something, but it's probably all of that. So let's play a little bit from Jason Bermas's stream talking about Alex's war here.
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and as you know, Alex's War premiered online a couple of days ago. I had the opportunity to watch this rather lengthy documentary, especially a biographical documentary in this age where everything is kind of like...
I'm going to watch it soon. Me and Billy are probably going to discuss it.
Fast food, quick cuts, 2+ hours, 2 hours and 11 minutes. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, how I felt about it throughout. But for those that are clicking on this and have no idea who I am and they just want to get a perspective from...
No, I mean, Rockfin, he's got something with Rockfin for sure. I don't know about Rumble. Not Podbean, Oswald. Definitely InfoWars. I mean, he hosts the 4th hour sometimes for InfoWars, for Alex Jones. So.
Somebody who worked with Alex Jones and what they think about this picture. I'm Jason Bermas. I am a documentary filmmaker, and really, Alex Jones, in many ways, mentored my talk radio / internet personality career, right?
So you learned from Alex Jones. Alex Jones mentored you. You were the first InfoWarrior. You were the first Owen the Destroyer Schroyer. Hey, at least Jack Blood talks more about the CMP than you do, but he won't answer my question about the Hunt family and quit live streaming a Q&A session because I asked him about the Hunts. But if you want to see that, if you want to, witness that, S90 was in there in the chat with me. Patreon, Subscribestar, $5 a month. I literally made Jack Blood quit a live stream. After he literally said he has the same PR firm as Jerome Corsi. He literally quit a live stream. Just because I asked him about the Hunt family. Nelson Bunker Hunt, H.L. Hunt. Just because I literally just asked, what do you think about the Hunt family? What do you think about Nelson Bunker Hunt? And what do you think about H.L. Hunt? Of course, he deflected the first question and talked about E. Howard Hunt and then talked about Roger Stone. But that's another discussion. At least Jack Blood at least discussed the CMP. At least Jack Blood talked about Eustace Mullins. Now, Jack Blood did say he kind of likes the John Birch Society and was a stand for G. Edward Griffin. And maybe that's why he was a stand for the Hunt family, because the Hunt families founded the John Birch Society, but, they also led to the assassination of JFK, but that's another discussion for another time. But at least Jack Blood at least goes a little bit further than Jason Bermas. Of course, Jack Blood was also under the tutelage of Alex Jones, CMP Alex Jones. So, Bermas was the info warrior. And so we're going to learn about a little bit of inside baseball in this clip about his relationship with Alex Jones. And what does it really boil down to? What it really boils down to is money and security for Bermas. Bermas has got himself a lady. Hopefully they get married. Bermas wants to have kids, wants to be a Little League coach. And in the laundromat video, he talks about, being a good cook and having the knowledge of the restaurateur business and how he could make money doing that. And he's not really in the truther game for money. Bermas, look, I don't know you from Adam. You don't know me from Adam. All right. But let me give you a little bit of friendly advice, okay? As a Christian, as a man, as a father, let me give you some friendly advice. Just quit being an opportunist and being used by the truth industry. Okay? Maybe this was once your passion. Maybe it is your passion to some degree. I don't know. I can't judge you on that. I can't judge you how many nights you stay awake at night, wrestling with yourself about being an opportunist, or how often you can look yourself in the mirror, because I sleep soundly at night, and I can look myself in the mirror any time, and stand by and by what I've done and me serving, God and Jesus Christ. So I have no qualms with what I've done on this channel. My conscience is clean. But you, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. So I'm going to give you a little friendly advice since you're going to start a family. Congratulations on that. I honestly mean that, man. It's starting a family, having kids, having, a significant other, having a wife. Those things are very important. And ultimately, I like you to be born again and believe in God and Jesus first and foremost. And I'll discuss why in a minute, because you discussed that you're a new ager. But, I pray for you, Jason. Yeah, I do. But, why don't you stop being an opportunist, because it's not really worth your soul. And what body of work do you really have? I mean, all of your documentaries, well, not all of them, most of your documentaries were funded by Alex Jones and InfoWars and the CMP. So, why don't you just stop and why don't you go work in the restaurateur business, okay? You can make some good money in the restaurateur business. You can make some good food if you're a good cook. And you can make a lot of people happy, Jason, okay? And you would do more of a service than what you do now. And you can have a cleaner conscience. It's really that simple. It really is. I hope you get right with the Lord, Stop being a new ager. But, I mean, it's really that simple, Jason. Because things are going to continue to get hairier, especially with you yoking up with Clay Clark and Michael Flynn and Roger Stone and the Reawakened America Tour and being part of the Great Awakening and pushing the Great Awakening. You probably don't want to do that, Jason. Because it's going to be at the cost of your mortal soul. But maybe you've already made that choice. I mean, you do practice the law of attraction. You do practice the secret. So maybe you've already made that choice, Jason. And maybe what little doubt I'm trying to give you now, I shouldn't. But, there's worse people who God has shown grace and were born again through their faith, like possibly Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm not being facetious there. I really do believe that. So if that's the case, then, I mean, someone like you've done far less worse things than Jeffrey Dahmer. There's hope. There's hope. Because we're all sinners. We're all fallen, including myself. But, just a little friendly advice. Maybe stop. Maybe go be a restaurateur, Jason.
The content I create here, and even inspired what I would do with my documentary films. He was this sort of all-in-one package of a person I may not agree fully with, but somebody, at least when I was looking at him in my pre-loose change days, I had great admiration for his courage. And I'll never forget, it's not a scene that's in this film, although I think that this film does do a good job of archiving Alex's early years. A lot of that is through the voice of Mike Hansen. I would have loved to see a few more voices in there, but I think Mike does a really good job. It's kind of given from Mike and Alex's perspective alone. Is this part of America Destroyed by Design, when Alex Jones is over in a national park, I believe it's Yellowstone, starts talking about the United Nations and how they've taken dominion and ownership over these parks. And all of a sudden he gets in the middle of a crowd of tourists and starts declaring this. And
Actually, if you want to listen to good people covering transhumanism, listen to Days of Noah. All right? Days of Noah, Jesse Spots. Okay? You don't need to listen to Jason Bermas about his takes to transhumanism, all right? Same stuff pushing by Clay Clark and the Reawaken America tour. If you want some true people doing some research into transhumanism, there's a few people I can mention. You don't have to listen to Jason Bermas for that. He doesn't Wayne McCoy, definitely Wayne McCoy. Wayne McCoy, friend of the show, fellow brother in Christ. So Wayne McCoy, for sure. Days of Noah. So there's people.
And I just think to myself, my God, this is so awkward. But I started laughing to myself. I'm like, this guy will do whatever it takes, and you got to give him credit for that. He just steps right into the situation and goes for it. Love him or hate him. And I don't know, other than the fact that I believe in a thing called the law of attraction. A lot of people like to equate that with The Secret and kind of a simplicity in many ways. But I do believe that we create our own destinies, whether we realize it or not. And I was drawn to this material at a high level because as I was looking into it and I realized the severity that the situation was for not only the human species, but when I first got into it, Americans, people in the United States, I was taken aback. That's why 9/11 was really the focus in my early career. And that's, of course, how Alex Jones and I came together through Loose Change. And Loose Change Final Cut would be a film that he produced. And while he produced that, we grew more and more of a relationship, not only on the radio, but meeting each other in Chicago in 2006. And then when he produced my follow-up film, Fabled Enemies, I became his stand-in host. And from there, I would come back again. He would produce a film called Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find. All work I'm extremely proud of, by the way. And I was the first person he gave a show to, The Info Warrior with Jason Bermas. And I'll be forever grateful for that. Now,
I don't necessarily fault him for being grateful that Alex Jones gave him a job. Okay? I don't. But him still yoking with Alex Jones? Today, defending Alex Jones? Deflecting from the CMP? That's a problem.
Now, Alex and I had our differences then. We've had our differences throughout. You can watch videos, for instance, that go all the way up to our reunion tour, where Alex jumps into a video I'm doing with Rob Dew right before COVID 1984 kicks off over at the Omni Hotel. We kind of have a verbal spat over Julian Assange back and forth, but since then, I've hosted the Alex Jones's Fourth Hour many times now. I just hosted it last week.
Look, there were many people back in the day, Derek in the Midwest. I mean, Bermas, when he was InfoWarrior, was getting hounded when the CMP stuff came out in the early 2010s, late 2000s. He was getting hounded about Israel. Anybody who discussed Israel's anti-Semitic, interestingly enough, Bermas discusses Israel a few streams back on his own channel. But I mean, anybody who discusses Israel and Zionism's anti-Semitic, according to Bermas, Alex still pushes that line, and so, Bermas knew about the CMP. He's known for years. He's known about, Alex Jones is a CMP, agent. He's controlled. He knows all these things. But but the yoke back up with Alex, I mean, like him first getting with Alex, fine, whatever. All right. But to continue with Alex and then to yoke back up with Alex and then the yoke with the Clay Clark We Awaken America tour, that's the problem. All right. That's the issue.
Never given anything to say, and there's never, hey, you can't talk about this. I want to make that extremely clear, and I'm not on some kind of payroll. So I think I can give a really unique perspective of this film, Alex's War. And you can find it in numerous places. It's on iTunes. If you're watching on Rockfin, you can get pay-per-view. I think pay-per-view is like $4.99, I believe, if you're a $9.99 a month subscriber. So I love the Rockfin route. I think that's great. We're going to watch the trailer. I want to do that as well. But Alex's War, okay, is...
So in this stream, Bermas discusses that he ate Thanksgiving dinner at Alex's house, met Alex's father, had a good relationship with Alex's father, who was likely a John Birch Society and major member of the John Birch Society, minus the Alex Hicks stuff, all right? But, we know Alex's family, at least the narrative that's giving, he's intelligence. His uncle is supposedly intelligence, supposedly worked down there in Latin America for intelligence operations, likely, again, working in conjunction with the CMP. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I'm not going to play the rest. He also talks about he believes in the law of attraction, the law of one, the secret, which is, new age, it's false. As a Christian, I find it completely ludicrous because it's totally God is sovereign and it's up to the God's sovereign will. But, he's going to discuss that. And so let's see. Let's see what he said about the CMP, though, tonight. That's really what matters.
200 thumbs on this one? We're riding dirty on the Laundry Fold AMA. This is how dirty we ride. Riding dirty, everybody. Are you washing clothes for the entire block? Guys, I have way too many clothes, and I need to get rid of at least half of them. Eternal Bliss, did you watch my broadcast earlier? We need to reset the financial system. Oh, this is all clean laundry. Bernard does make some entertaining and informative docs. I don't know who Bernard is. Are you saying Bermas, maybe? Oh yeah, Eternal Bliss. Listen, that's how ridiculous it is. It's like you put like a backbeat and some graphics, and it's like, we're going to take away your standard of living. You're not going to be able to own a car. You're going to live in a box, and you won't be able to procreate. Like, come on. What do I know about the CNP, the Council on National Policy? It's a conservative group.
Notice that mostly every time, or if not almost every time, or most of the time, I guess that case. So most of the time, or every time so far that I've ever heard Jason Bermas, when someone brings up the Council for National Policy, he never says the name correctly. Council on National Policy. He never says the Council for National Policy. The Council for National Policy. It matters because it was a council on United States national policy, okay? Even though when asked, they claimed, we just talk about foreign policy, but that's not the case. They actually talk about national policy and foreign policy. So United States policy and foreign policy, all right? So he deliberately, with Billy, now, when asked, he always gets the name wrong, or mostly gets the name wrong. And it's on purpose. It's on purpose. He knows what the Council for National Policy is. He knows what it is. He knows. But most people, when they deflect, okay, there's some people that genuinely get the name wrong at first. I understand that. But Bermas knows. Bermas knows what the name is. And he purposely botches it. Purposely. He does it. Dyer does it. They both do it. Dyer worked directly under R.J. Rushdoony, the Christian Reconstructionist. Major CMP member. That's where Dyer cut his cloth in the 90s. He admitted that to me in his Discord group. Dyer and his Orthobros. It's going to be very interesting when Dyer aligns himself with the Great Awakening group, with the Christian Dominionist group. Well, that's going to be really interesting when that happens.
Many of them who are involved in awful foreign policy and arms deals getting together that are still under that that guise of Christianity and conservatism. I've talked about them before. I know, like, Buchanan is a member who, Buchanan out of the right-wing structure over the last 30 years, although he was demonized, was one of the better ones.
That's right. That Knight of Malta member, Patrick Buchanan. He's our guy. Get it. Oh, I've talked about him, you guys. I've talked about the Council for National Policy extensively. Oh, I've talked about him all the time. I never stop talking about him. I'm Jason Bermas. I'm Jay Dyer. I've talked about it. I interviewed the Collins brothers on the CMP. I'm Jay Dyer. They say the same stuff. The same stick. The same stick. And neither one of them will debate me. Neither one of them will debate me. They're cowards.
I would say that, I know there was a big criticism of Jones not talking about them back in the day and that they had superpower. I'd say they're an understructure of the CFR.
No. They're under you guys. They're under the CFR, all right? And he's going to say the same stuff he always does, the same stuff he said at Billy Ray Valentine's show when he was questioned about it. Oh, well, I mainly talk about the Bilderberg. All right, Jason, I'd love La Circle, which is the Bilderberg of the right wing of the world order. Left wing, right wing, left wing CFR, Bilderberg, right wing CMP, La Circle, part of the same eagle. Okay, right or the left, it doesn't matter. It's about the truth, right? Bermas is what you say, right? So it's not CFR, it's not Bilderberg, CFR, CMP. So no, none of them have any power. Okay? Oh, no. The CMP doesn't have any power like you said, Jay Dyer has said. Let me ask you, Bermas, why do you work for Alex Jones? He's CMP. Why are you buddy with Roger Stone? He's around the CMP nexus. Why Michael Flynn, you want your Department of Defense guy who's CMP. If they're under the CFR and they're just some Christian group, because that was just a slight, because, there are some people in the CMP who likely don't know what the inner circle of the CMP does, and many of them are conservatives or conservative Christians, and they're duped. I understand that. But there's certain people that we know that are the elite of the CMP, Michael Flynn being one, Stephen K. Bannon being another, Foster Freeze, I could go on. Those people really know what the CMP does. The things that they have done, the horrible, horrific things they've done, the Latin American death squads, Iran-Contra affair, 9/11, half of the Project New American Century was CMP. The other half was CFR, but Bermas isn't going to tell you that. All right? The Franklin scandal. Okay? The phony impeachment of Bill Clinton. Ali Alexander and Stop the Steal. The Stop the Steal shenanigans. All right? America's fraudline doctor. America's frontline doctor. All right? No, none of that. None of that. None of that.
But very much involved in the type of predator class maneuvers that result in business deals and policy. The Council on National Policy. I guess that's my take on them. I don't think that when I talk cream of the crop, I talk Bilderberg for a damn good reason.
That's right, the Council on National Policy. And when I talk about cream of the crop, I talk about Bilderberg. All right, are we going to talk about the Atlantic Council? Are we talking about Atlantic Council? Are we talking about Atlantic Council? Because I don't think we're going to talk about the Atlantic Council. We're not going to talk about the Atlantic Council, are we? We're not going to talk about the Hunt, the right and the left, Atlantic Council come together. They're the new World Anti-Communist League. We're not going to talk about that either. Ah, okay. Okay. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Cancel on national policy according to Bermas under the CFR. This is why I always talk about Bilderberg. Bilderberg this, Bilderberg that. And look, I'm not saying that Bilderberg isn't important. They gave a prime, front and center to Peter Thiel this year, okay? But come on, Bermas. Council on Nationals. Council for! Council for National Policy. I know back in the day, Bermas, you wouldn't talk about Mossad's, implications in 9/11. It was all, it's 9/11's an inside job. 9/11's an inside job. 9/11's an inside job. Now, of course, Alex Jones now, like Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson says it's the Saudis, even though he was at the Saudi Invitational Tour with Alex Jones. Donald Trump. Swanson and Donald Trump were together. The golf tour, Saudi Invitational Golf Tour. So now you did talk a little bit about Israel, get a little bit of clout there. Congratulations with the cash amounts transfers. Let's talk a little bit about the Belt and Road. Give you a little bit of clout. Good job. A little bit about Belt and Road. But back in the day, you used to hound anybody. Anybody that talked about Mossad 9/11. Anybody talk about Mossad 9/11. Nope. They anti-Semitic. Alex Jones. It's Chi-Coms. Epstein and Chi-Coms. Has nothing to do with Mossad. Has nothing to do with American intelligence. Have nothing to do with UK intelligence. MI6. No, it's definitely don't mention Mossad. It's Chi-Coms. Chi-Coms. It's Chi-Coms. So that's where we're at. That is where we are at. And so Jason Bermas will continue to make excuses for the Council for National Policy. He's going to call the Council on National Policy and continuously get it wrong. Says he knows all about it. He's covered it extensively, but continues and gets it wrong, misdirect, wrong. Just like 9/11's only an inside job. Has nothing to do with the Mossad. Has nothing to do with the Swiss Templars. Has nothing to do with the Vatican. Has nothing to do with Australia, United Kingdom. None of that. Pakistan, none of that. Nah. Only inside job. And I'm not going to say that, the CMP, the CFR, PNAC, there was an American interest to play with 9/11. Of course there was. But we're not going to name all the other people that were involved. And some people were involved more than others, like Mossad. But we're not going to mention that, are we? So I'm done covering Bermas for a while, unless he if you want to debate Bermas, we read the documents at protonmail.com. Let's do it. We won't do it because you lose your bread, your meal ticket. That's why you won't do it. But we read the documents at protonmail.com. We'll debate Alex Jones, whether he should be tried for treason. There's two topics I'll debate you on. If Alex Jones should be tried for treason, or if, the CMP versus the CFR. I will debate you under those two topics. I will debate you under those two topics. All right, everybody, that's all I got. Same with Dyer. CFR versus CMP. I don't want to do Protestantism versus Orthodox. I don't want to do me being a Baptist versus Orthodoxy. It's always been CFR versus CMP, Dyer. We've read the documents at protonmail.com. I know you won't do it either because they butter your bread too. In some shape or form. Appearing on InfoWars with Alex Jones, Dyer. Butter your bread too. We got some shows this week, hopefully, Lord willing. Charlie Robinson is going to interview me on The Finders tomorrow, so that'll be interesting. Still putting out my, I'm gonna be done with the second chapter next week. Be publishing the last blog on the second chapter. Be moving on to the third chapter of The Finders. $5 a month, $50 a year on Substack. Me and Billy are going to do a show on QAnon and MAGA rap. So if you want some laughs, it's going to be live from the Kill Shed. I'm Black Trump. Billy's Young Kennedy. So if you want some laugh, you want to listen to some really bad music, we're trying to get Fagadio Blow to come on so we can interview Fagadio Blow. So if you want to hear some really bad music, I mean some really bad music. You want some laughs? You want to see what we're up against? Tune in for that live for the Kill Shed. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lots of laughs. It's going to be a fun time. Me and S90 still got to do a show on the Moonies and the assassination of Shinzo Abe and the Happy Science cult. So maybe that'll be this week, if not next week, hopefully. I think that's really about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Me and Mark are going to do a show. I don't exactly know what on. Hey, End of Days. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. Hey, Randy. Hope you're doing well, too. God bless you as well. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Hey, Carl. Hope you're doing well. Are you still in the hospital? I've been praying for you. Hey, Brand. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Great pitch about what, Mark? Great pitch of our show together. I don't know what we're gonna talk about yet. I mean, I owe you a call tomorrow anyway. God bless you, Sushi. Oh, you're at home, Carl? Are you well enough to do a show? And also realize this, guys. I don't hate Jason Bermas. I don't hate Jay Dyer. I don't hate him. I disagree with him. Okay, Carl, I'll get you up for this. I'll hit you up. We gotta do a show together. You need to give your perspective about psychedelics. What's my take on the Dutch farmers? I think it's part of the Great Awakening and continuing. I think it's, the world rising up against the old world order, the harlot, to bring in the beast. If we are, if we are moving into the end times, Revelation, Book of Revelation, if this isn't, the return of Jesus Christ, they would play in that. I mean, it's happening around the world. All these uprisings are, So I think it's controlled just like everything else is. Bermas was doing laundry. He wasn't in a bathroom stall, Mark. Actually, we could play Laura's video that she did of me was actually really good. I liked it a lot. I'll play that real quick going out, I guess. You know, DJ, your comment didn't show up about asking Bermas about the CMP. I figured it was you because I've been seeing you interacting with him. So they might have blocked you after that.
This video expresses some very strong and possibly controversial opinions, especially on the subject of patriotism. I think it's important for us as Christians to consider these ideas, especially when this particular...
Especially since right now on my Subscribe Star, on my Patreon, I'm reading Psychic Dictatorship in America about Guy and Judy Ballard's Mighty I Am cult from the 1930s. It echoes so much about the QAnon operation and the truth movement in modern times into the Great Awakening and everything. I mean, the parallels are spooky. I mean, I learned about it first from Lee Veltman. Lee Veltman, used to talk about it a lot. I have to give him props for, discussing it with me. And then, later Arturo Tafoya talked about it a lot and everything. But it's really interesting. So
patriotism is sharing the stage with New Age doctrines of demons.
It's just interesting just to see these people be a part of something that's so blatantly Mystery Babylon and New Age. And just not... Why even be a part of this, like Dr. Sherry Tenpenny or Clay Clark? Why constantly yoke yourself up with Sasha Stone and constantly yoke yourself up with this group? And then, even that is sus, because they're yoking themselves up specifically to the world. But then when they're on these things, not even, really preach the word of God, or the objective truth of God the Father or Jesus Christ, which that in and of itself is very sus. All these people that people have blind faith in, they're fighting for them, that they're white hats, when in reality, whether they realize it or not, they're being used by Satan.
Inspired idea was to allow people to hear the truth about election fraud, medical fraud, religious fraud.
So does Clay Clark, when he's talking with Sasha Stone, there's issues with Sasha Stone's New Age theosophical beliefs? No.
Many of the great archetypal gods and goddesses and super souls, angelics, have receded, are back here amongst us as our brothers and sisters.
This is not to be taken lightly. What Sasha is talking about is the spiritual hierarchy of the fallen. The ascended masters are actually descended, which is an inversion. And they actually have the same origin story as Lucifer and his rebellion against God, along with 1/3 of the angels. What he just said is exactly what Alice Bailey means by externalization of the hierarchy. This is also what Paul was talking about in Ephesians 6. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's a spiritual hierarchy right there. And this is what he's talking about. Our brothers and sisters.
Finishing what they began, in a sense. That's part of a story that is emerging between now and 2030 will become crystal clear to everyone on Earth. Everyone on Earth will know by the year 2030 what I'm talking about. Now, lucid dreaming and lucid states and astral projection, plasma projection is part of the pedestrian function of how we thread these different aspects of self, of the greater self, and reconfigure our divinity and the great works that we're all doing in this world. Be clear, we're all of us doing this work.
The ITNJ would be a tribunal for the people, by the people, but the founders have connections to the Vatican, monarchy, intelligence services, and the establishment. And it now also appears that certain information threatening the establishment is being censored by order of the intelligence service. Article link below.
Some of us inhabit rather mundane existences in the world and don't make too much noise professionally or socially or, in any way, shape, or form. But the real work that you're doing, that we're doing, that you're doing, is taking place in the subdimensional, hyperdimensional, superdimensional, and intradimensional planes of existence.
Blah, 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 blah.
That is just the way it is.
Blah, blah, blah,
and
blah,
again,
blah.
by the year 2030, this will be crystal clear to every soul alive of how that's when we talk about immanence, immanent nature, supernature, this is what I'm describing. And it goes back to what I said in the last Lazarus.
Sasha, why you get that United Nations award, Sasha? Why you get United Nations award, Sasha Stone?
Q&A, when someone raised the subject of the beloved and matrimony and twin flames and all of that. But we need to recognize that you are the beloved. Actually, more than that, I need to recognize that I am the beloved.
Wow.
The I am is the beloved. You are all my beloveds. We are the beloved. And we should pledge matrimony and allegiance to one another beyond the fiction of time. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
So does Clay Clark, when he's talking with Sasha Stone, the issues with Sasha Stone's New Age theosophical beliefs? No, he does. No, he doesn't call him out. No, he doesn't do any of that. So what does Clay Clark do when he's given his time? A self-proclaimed born-again Christian. He just gives a narrative of the Great Reset versus the Great Awakening and pushes the Great Awakening. So why don't we list a little bit of Clay Clark? Let's judge him by his fruits. All right, let's see what his actions. Let's see what he does.
Without which we have no New Earth Horizon friends. So let me introduce my bestie, Patriot Street Fighter Scott McKay.
Scott McKay. The guy says if you're not with us, you're against us. So since I want to do with nothing with the satanic Great Awakening, the beast system, the possible alleged beast system, my head's going to be chopped off because I'm not out there, I'm a traitor.
That is coming in this movement, which is drawing anybody and everybody from all corners of the planet. They want a piece of this. If I see that they are not working for the benefit of humanity, you know what I do. Yes, the tomahawk. Don't you ever say hatchet again for the rest of your whole life. I can tell you this. I had a conversation with Reverend William last night. And I said, what the problem is? We need the preachers and the pastors in the country coming onto this battlefield with my attitude. All over.
No, we don't need that. Nope.
Believe me, you have the pastors of the country coming out like it is a revolutionary war, putting the Bible down, grabbing a musket, heading out into the hills, packing gunpowder in that fight, taking human life. We need fighters. We need battlefield soldiers. There is sanity onto the local communities, and the regions and the states, and then it goes national. Why? Because we don't show up. That's the problem with the Republican Party. That one of the reasons I walked away in 2006, these people don't know how to fight. They don't know how to fight. And make no mistake, this is a fight. And if they haven't realized it up until now, they never are. But I'm telling you something. When God sends the Archangel Michael down here to do business, he's bringing a sword. He's lopping heads off and blood's going to flow.
With them. I'm not with the satanic Great Awakening. I'm not with the beast system. So I'm against them, so I'm going to have to die. That's some raw go team right there.
We have no New Earth Horizon friends. So let me introduce Clay to the audience. Very good to see you, Clay.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for lowering your standards to allow me to be here, and hopefully we can drop some knowledge bombs.
God bless you, Clay. You look formidably handsome and officious in that red tie. In fact, you look very closely akin to a Trump fan. How are things going on in North America? Tell the world.
Well, Sasha, I think you and I have kind of a similar look going on here. If you look, it's a very...
Clay.
There it is. Nice.
Make America great again. Trump coming back. Now, some people believe that Trump's the Antichrist. I don't know. But he is going to play a major role in the false Great Awakening to come, which may be the beast system spoke about in the book of Revelation. Maybe. We don't know. Revelation could still happen 100 to 200 years from now. But it does still feel like, however, with everything going on in the world, this is the birth pangs. I don't know. We'll have to see. This is the fruits of the QAnon operation, which is satanic, which is New Age, has its roots in theosophy. Covered it in this channel extensively. Other people have too as well. The Great Awakening is false. Because this is the false solution to everything that's going on right now with the old world order and how corrupt the puppeted Biden is. So the world order's laid bare of how horrific it is. And trust me, it is. The old world order is horrific. The whole Great Reset, it's supposed to be this sloppy, so it could be laid bare to the world, so these people could come in and quote unquote rescue us. It's ridiculous.
What is your take right now on what appears to be a monumental drive toward indicting and nailing President Trump to the sacrificial cross?
Interesting terms you just said there, Sasha. That's an interesting way of framing it, is it not? Oh no. So Sasha Stone also believes in the satanic Luciferian second coming of Donald Trump. He just literally just said it just like Mo Brooks did. Mo Brooks just said the second coming of Donald Trump. Sasha Stone just literally said it.
Thank you, Mr. President. And future President of the United States of America. I'm pleased to announce the second coming of President Donald J. Trump.
I'm a devout Christian, and I know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has a plan for this nation that it exceeds their plans.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the gospel. Let's talk about how Michael Flynn is a theosophist, Satanist, who said the Elizabeth Clare Prophet's prayer, false prayer, a New Age theosophical prayer in Hank Kuhneman's church. Come on, Clay. Come on. Let's do it.
Whatever it is.
I will not fear to speak, and I will be the instrument of God's will, whatever it is.
In your name. And the name of your legions.
Here I am, so help me God, in the name of our
I want to
King,
bring on
Michael
our
and his
mutual
legions.
friend and admirer, if that's okay with you. That's one Scott McKay.
Scott!
Hello, I'm in rarefied air again, but never quite like this today with both Clay and Sasha. I don't know.
Okay, so would Jesus share a platform with Satan and then hand him the mic? That's what this reminds me of.
Well, nothing's going to happen. And I don't mean just we, the people here in the United States. This is we, the people across the world. And the people across the world have to realize we are all one. We're all one family. We're from the same creator. We're all connected. We're all tethered together spiritually, energetically.
And failure, if we do not go through a spiritual ascension leap in the process, what's that going to take? It's going to take a worldwide wake-up shockwave for people, number one, to learn the realities and the depravity of this planet. Number two, they have got to come off the bench and get into the fight. Having your world handed over to you again, having your country handed back to you again without you being vested in the fight, changes nothing. You're still the same person as you were yesterday. This is an ascension operation. How do we ascend through the process? Ascension doesn't happen. Discover the God-given power that you have. The same power that Christ had.
The same power that Christ has.
It's going to change the consciousness of the planet. Okay. And I always hit my Christian friends because we'll go out here and we'll quote biblical scripture all the time. Sounds great, but how many people buy into it? Why do you think Christ said you will do all of these works and even greater works than I? Spiritual ascension.
No, not spiritual ascension. That's New Age. Sorry.
To keep you suppressed, keep you from discovering that true power. Because if that power of the Christ consciousness rises and you can do miraculous things, it changes everything.
Okay, Christ consciousness means we can attain the consciousness that Jesus had so that we can be as Christ. Because he didn't come to save us from our sins. He came to show us how to become as God and be awakened and ascend, etc. This is serpent speak. Remember Genesis 3:5, the serpent said to Eve, that for God knows that the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. This is what he is talking about.
Because Christians, we're Christians first, American citizens second. Don't forget
we
that.
are today has to be about our country. Has to be about our country. Has to be about our country. And I will tell you.
Don't